Welcome to Live the Pickleball Life. I'm Karen Thaxton, and I'm really excited to have a special guest with me today, Coach Gina Paris, who specializes in sports mindset coaching. And when I realized that I knew her from a long time ago, I had to invite her to be on. I actually found her again. We hadn't been in touch in years, and found her again through a Pickleball Friends website that had a link to something that she sponsored years ago. And I thought, wait a minute, I know this name. So we connected once again, and I'm really excited to have Gina. Let me tell you just a little bit about her so you have an idea of just how fabulous she is. She is an expert in helping athletes and other high-powered professionals turn their biggest stresses into their greatest strengths, and couldn't all of us use that? And after suffering debilitating panic attacks for more than 20 years that ruined her attempt at her dream job, Gina was able to finally crack the code and clear all that kind of pain and frustration out. And she's helped thousands of people do the same things. She even got her son drafted into Major League Baseball when he wasn't necessarily the best player on the team. So get ready to take lots of notes and get your mindset situated so your game can be better. You're going to love this conversation with Coach Gina Paris. Actually, we're going to have part one here, and then you'll want to look for part two, where we'll talk about some slightly different topics that have to do with pickleball mindset. Welcome, Gina. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you. And thanks for that introduction. I should correct that I didn't get my son drafted since he did all the hard work, but he did have really, really major blocks that we were able to clear his senior year of college. It was really, really fantastic for our little worlds to overlap for a while. Yes. You know, when you're mom, your kid doesn't really think you know anything for several years. So
that's right. That's awesome.
Turned out fun.
Then we'll give him a little bit of credit for helping get into Major League Baseball then in that instance.
Oh, that was good.
Then I looked at the freebie that you had that I found from the link to the link to the link and tracked it back to you. It had to do with a summit that you sponsored or that you put on years ago about sports mindset, and some of it had to do with pickleball and other sports and whatnot. And it got me thinking how many times I've heard comments on the pickleball court from people going, why can't I just, or it isn't clicking. Why isn't it clicking? And how many times I've said these things myself when I've tried to do new things. So if you don't mind, I just want to pick your brain a little bit while this video and ask you about some things that I've heard and I've experienced myself. And the first one is psyching yourself out before you ever get started, whether this is rec play and you just show up on a Saturday morning or a Tuesday night, and there's often what we call a paddle stack, and people have their paddles in a line, and you just play with whoever happens to be next in the paddle stack, and you look across the net and go, oh crap, I'm dead before I even get started. What do we do?
Yes, great question. The overriding concept will be that we're always going to play equal to our self-concept, right? And so the important thing is to, when you have doubts, you know, like do this work before you're on the court, of course, to accept this idea that sometimes you're not as great as other times, and you're just choosing to play. You know, choose, I call it a new way to compete. And I say compete from victory, not for victory. You know, like pretend you're just back there, you're much better than you are, and you're back just to play for fun. Or pretend you're a kid, just there to play. We call it play. But this will help you to remember that our state, which is your greatest resource as an athlete or a professional, the ability to manage your state. Your state is always determined by your focus, your self-talk, and then your physiology or your body language. So when we get psyched out, it's partly unconscious right? Our sympathetic nervous system is just flooding a little bit of cortisol to say, Mayday, Mayday, this isn't safe. It reminds us of that time you were really embarrassed in third grade because you did blah, blah, you know, and you're thinking, why am I psyched out? It's so unconscious. So if you can realize that, I'm on a yoga ball, so woo, but if you can realize that it's just a safety mechanism, then you can remember, okay, focus, self-talk, and physiology. You can adjust any one of those. So maybe instead of focusing on screwing up against this person, you focus on the fun of being there. And maybe instead of self-talk of, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, your self-talk is, this will be fun. This will be fun, you know, and then your physiology, instead of letting yourself shrink, because your poor little nervous system, it's going to be a fight, flight, and freeze. My stress of choice is freeze. I just hate it. But right. It's embarrassing. Like I'm the mindset girl. But if you can help your physiology, the best way to get back into a calm state would be to breathe. So we breathe. In fact, we can do it with the viewers now because it feels so good. Okay. And this is always the first thing I do with my clients, whether we're on the phone or Zoom. And it's just, we call it a square breath. And it's square because we breathe in to the count of 4. We hold it for the count of 4. We exhale to the count of 4, and we hold that to the count of 4. Okay. So let's try it together, shall we?
Through my mouth or through my nose? Or does it matter?
That's a great question. There's a lot of reason that through the nose actually works better if you can.
All right.
Okay. So and exhale for 4. And hold that exhale.
Okay.
And then you can do that a few times. Sometimes you'll really want that in you might be like, oh, I can't breathe out slowly through my nose. So maybe pretend you're snorkeling and remember when you had to breathe real slowly through a straw or something. So you can try it again through the mouth and out through the nose.
Okay.
And hold that. 3, 4. Exhale for 4. And hold that. And the reason we sometimes stay with the mouth closed is just so you get less thirsty.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I mean, especially this time of year when I'm in and out breathing through my mouth on the basketball court, I'm drinking twice as much as I do in the summertime because my mouth is dry, no humidity and whatnot.
So interesting. So those things will help you not psych yourself out. The biggest thing is clear our own blocks to our own way, right? It's all our story. It's all our story.
Awesome.
Is that helpful?
Yeah, those are good tips because especially if you're playing in a tournament, for example, and you're moving up a skill level, maybe you've played at 3-0 or whatnot, you're moving to 3-5 or 3-5 up to 4-0 or what have you. And then you're thinking by the time you step on the court, what in the world am I doing?
Yeah. So yeah, just, and to accept yourself like, oh yeah, that's a legit thought, instead of like being, oh my God, I'm not now, just, oh yeah, what am I doing? I get part of me is a little freaked out. But so then you can change your self-talk, because I'm not a fan of trying to resist. So, and then as that part of that physiology or body language, in addition to the breath, let yourself get big. There's a lot of research that shows that when you take a power pose, that your cortisol goes down and your testosterone goes up. So men tend to be a little better at the power pose and taking up a lot of space and arms up or something like that. But we call that our game face or getting big. And that changes our physiology and our psychology, because any one of those 3 things affects your state. So when you're intentional about all 3, focus, self-talk, body language, you'll be a lot more powerful, more consistently.
Awesome. And that leads to actually what someone else was talking about the other day, overcoming self-doubt. You know, when I said something about, okay, I've signed up for this tournament and then it's current tournament day and we show up and go, I really shouldn't have done this. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to be able to play up on this new level. You know, forget it. Let me just, I'll forfeit the money I paid. Let me just turn around and go home before I make a fool out of myself. And that's a little different than psyching yourself out on the court, right? The self-doubt part of it.
Well, what you said was both conscious and unconscious to most people. Make a fool of myself. That is, that's at the root of all performance anxiety, whether it's conscious. Sometimes in performance anxiety, you just like, you choke, you blow it. There's something in the back of your mind like, oh God, I'll make a fool of myself. Yep. So that's a good time to, you know, at any point ask, well, what's so bad about that? We all, you know, we do this thing, like we're looking at ourselves through other people's eyes. Really, people don't care. They're consumed with themselves. So, you know, but if we can change our perspective on, does it matter if I make a fool of myself? Who really cares? What's the worst that can happen through that? Like, let yourself really play it out. Why does that matter? Where else do I care so much what people think? Whose eyes exactly am I looking through? What do I think they'll say? What's that remind me of? Is that the end of the world? So this is why I love the idea of stress turning into strength, because I'm convinced that every frustration is an invitation to come up higher and heal. So like when I had those panic attacks, I didn't have them for 20 years, but it was actually more than 20 years ago. And but that's okay. The beauty of it was realizing, wow, this is such a beautiful invitation. So if we're worried about making a fool of ourselves, there's some beautiful invitation there to get free of what people think. What freedom is that?
You know, and there's so many people that I even see on social media who post about what a wonderful time they had at tournaments and so on. Didn't medal this time, but met a lot of great people and blah, blah, blah. So whether it's showing up at a new court, you know, maybe you've moved or you've decided that you just want to go explore some other courts and meet some new people, but still walking on that court with total strangers the first time. What are they going to think of me? Are they going to think I'm a bad player? Am I going to blow it? And all of this self-doubt. Those things would be awesome for that, just to know, okay, this is me. I'm in the moment. They like me. They don't like me. You know, I'm just going to play my game and they can play their game and hopefully we'll connect. If I don't medal in this tournament this time, my goal is to have an awesome time and meet some great people and whatnot. So all of that sounds amazing to just keep that in mind instead of focusing on what if.
Oh, absolutely. So maybe pretend it's your court. Pretend you're this billionaire person, your party, you got to, just play with all these stories. You know, Nathan Chen, who just won the gold medal, I didn't watch much of the Olympics, but I appreciate him so much because he had such a fiasco at the previous Olympics as a skater. He, this time around, said, I did not tell myself one single time I'm here to win. Not once. And he said, yep, I'm here for the experience. And he skated flawlessly. And so if we'll do that, I'm here for the experience. What a blast. Yeah. Very good.
That is very good. That is. Yeah. When we're doing all of that, though, it is important to maintain focus on actual playing of pickleball while we're in there, which is different than, you know, yes, you show up and you're trying to alleviate the stress and the self-doubt that you have. And I'm here to have a great time and whatnot, but we need to play great as well.
Yes.
How do we keep that focus in the middle of stressful situations? Even if we've got the self-doubt handcuffed and it, you know, we've got it under control, that's not an issue anymore. It's still really stressful to play against competitors. Got tips for us for that?
Yes. One of the best things is to have a persona that you want to embody when you step on that court.
Okay.
So you can connect with who is your alter ego, you know, and have something that signifies that person to you. So maybe it's a fictional character, maybe it's an athlete that you really admire, maybe it is an animal, just something that then you connect it to something that you've put on. Maybe when you grab your racket, you become, you know,
Annalie Waters.
There you go. There you go. Yes. And this is remarkable. There's been research that just showed these little children, 3 different control groups, you know, little kindergartners given these really difficult tasks to unlock these little boxes that really weren't even unlockable, or, you know, this crazy task. And one of the groups was given little t-shirts, like Batman t-shirts. And those little kids, they didn't quit. And they were overheard saying, like, Batman wouldn't quit, so I'm not going to quit. Like, their whole philosophy of how they went about this challenge was completely different than the people who had no external prop or anything to change their talk or their mindset.
I actually think I read that article or some article about that. I remember the Batman t-shirts and whatnot. And there were all the memes going around on social media about, you know, wearing a t-shirt that says I'm Batman or whatever it said.
Yeah, exactly.
That was really cute. Yeah, I like that. I've seen mentions of alter egos on TV shows, fictional shows, and other, you know, talk shows and things like that, where people talked about, you know, okay, here we go. And a lot of the times, I think not only in sports, but in other areas as well, public speakers who are introverts. I am, until I get to know somebody, I am very much an introvert. I don't have a lot to say. I'm just kind of observing and absorbing, and I tend to shrink back. And everybody for years would say, you're just so different on stage, when I used to do a lot of speaking and going to conferences and whatnot for business. And there was, I don't know that I would call it an alter ego or a persona, but there was a switch that got flipped, and it was very different, because up there is up there, and then there's real life. So, you know, maybe that type of thing is, you know, would come into play as well, you know, choosing somebody to think about. And then you do the WW fill in the blank. Whoever do. Yeah. And that's what would Batman do? What would Annalie Waters do? You know, all these that's
and it's not fake, that you're drawn to those attributes and those characteristics because they are in you. It's not being fake. It's not fake it till you make it. I hate that phrase. I would say it's more like be it till you see it, or be it and see it, or, you know, it's all of these things together. There's no fake. If you think you're fake, your nervous system's going to go fake, fake, fake. We don't like fake. So it's a beautiful part of you. I love that.
That's cool. Yeah, be it till you see it. That's a cool quote. That's a cool. So we're doing all these things, and we are not psyching ourselves out. We've overcome our self-doubt. We're morphing into our persona before we hit the court. So we keep our focus and we play at our very best. And then, oops, life drops in and we bomb.
Yep.
And it's disappointing. It's really disappointing when you, especially if you don't play your best, and it's just, you know, the planets are not aligned, or you know, there's sunspots that day, or whatever it may be. It, you know, full moon the night before, you know, you just didn't do a good job. And a lot of the times you just want to go home. You know, I'm throwing the paddle in the closet. I'm burning my shoes. I don't want to play pickleball anymore. But what's a better way to pick ourselves up when we fail, temporarily fail?
Right. Well, because it's not win or lose, right? It's win or learn. So sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So if you can learn, get curious instead of furious. but really, like I said, don't resist. If you're angry, you're disappointed, you're frustrated, let yourself feel all of that.
Yeah.
Because it's real. It's a beautiful part of your competitive soul. Okay. Love it. Rah! And then get curious and say, well, what was different this time? Where did I lose my peace? Where did I stop the self-talk? Where did I let my physiology look like I'm frustrated? Where, what would I do differently next time? And if you realize that you're in this for your personal growth, then that makes it a lot more satisfying. Hopefully, you stopped in before it got that bad. But even that, you say, well, I didn't stop. When I started to feel myself losing composure, I didn't stop. Next time, I'll do the breath, I'll pick something, act big, breathe big, commit big. This is an interesting thing. So in baseball, we had this acronym ABC, and it was always act big, breathe big, commit big, from my buddy Tom Hampton's Play Big Baseball book, ABC. But then I say that is the compete place. But in my formula, we also have create, compete, create, collaborate. Under create, we don't just act big, breathe big, commit big. We're always be celebrating. It's a different kind of energy. And so if you can decide, I don't just ABC to compete, I ABC to create. Always be celebrating. What can I celebrate in this loss now? It'll help you a lot.
That's very interesting. Yeah. So maybe do a debrief.
Yes.
Disappointing night on the court or a disappointing tournament, and like you said, learn from it instead of seeing it as a loss. It's a learning experience. Take some notes, even. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Get a notebook or a journal or a notes app on your phone or whatever. And okay, what didn't go so great? What did go so great? What did they do better than me that now I can do because I saw them do that? Okay, cool. Yep, they got those shots off on me, but that's something to add to my list. Boy, next time I hit it, I'm going to have all these new strokes and all these new tools in my toolbox. So that's a good idea, because you can tell. You talked about physiology showing that you were frustrated. And man, if you look around the court all across America on any given day or night, you can see the expressions on people's faces, or they hit an overhead slam and it misses and it goes out, and they just slap their leg with the paddle, or people throw paddles. That shows frustration. Big time. So keeping a handle on those. And what can we do besides that? I mean, if you get that frustrated to where you're ready to throw your paddle, what's an alternative?
That's great, because mental toughness is all about how quickly you recover. So again, I'm a big fan, so don't resist it. Like, ugh. And then remember our self-concept and that persona. See yourself as somebody who immediately is back in flow.
Yep. Okay.
That's a totally different person. Yeah, because now you can come up higher and decide to compete from victory instead of for victory. I'm competing from victory, not for victory. I've got nothing to prove and everything to give. I'm giving myself to this game. I'm giving myself to this moment, completely present, because it's the anxiety and the frustration. It's all about the past, even if it's a second ago, or the future, what they're saying about me when I lose, or but right this minute, I love it here. I love it here. Exactly.
So be in the moment. Be in the moment.
Yes.
That's
yes,
great.
it's all there is. It's all there is.
Coach,
yes. And when you see yourself, like I've always loved that when baseball players make an error in the MLB, how quickly they'll act like nothing happened.
Yeah. Okay.
That's classy. Because if you're only a child carries it for too long. Amateurs, you're not amateur, you're next level.
That's right.
Shake it off. Flush. Right. Act like you flush the toilet. Flush it. Very good.
Awesome. All right, Gina, if people want to find out more about you or the mindset coaching services that you offer, where do we go?
Sure. You can find me at builttowin.com.
Awesome. That sounds great. I so appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
We're going to do at least one more video and cover a couple of topics. So look for that on the Live the Pickleball Life video YouTube channel in the video section, and you'll find the video that complements this one as well. I'm Karen Thaxton with Live the Pickleball Life. I hope you found this mindset coaching as helpful as I have, and stay safe out there on the courts.
Bye-bye.